This is video 4 for section 5.3. We're picking things up on number 22. It says to graph the function over the interval, then integrate the function over the integral. And then part B says find the area of the region between the graph and the x-axis. So it's possible that parts A and B are the same thing, only if the values of the function are all positive. So it's likely that on number 22, the picture is probably going to look something like number 19 or 20, where part of the function is above and part of it's below the axis. So as I go to graph this thing, and I'm going to graph it by hand, it's just a parabola. I know it's an upside down parabola. What I really care about here, because of part B's question, is I really care about the zeros. So I'm going to assume that this will factor nicely. And I'm going to factor out the -1. Leave me x squared minus 5x plus 4, which will factor into x, 4 and 1, and negative and negative. So my zeros of the function are going to be at 4 and at 1. So here's 1, here's 4. It's an upside down parabola, so the vertex is going to be somewhere in between these two. And so the graph probably looks, something like that. And they want me to integrate from 0 to 2, and this is at 1. Okay, so for part A, I don't really care about the positive and negative. It's irrelevant. I'm just going to do what the math tells me to do. So I'm going to set it up to go from 0 to 2, negative x squared plus 5x minus 4, put that in parentheses, dx. So now I'm going to take the antiderivative of that, which is going to be negative 1/3 x cubed plus 5/2 x squared minus 4x, evaluated from 0 to 2. So let's see, I'm going to get negative 1/3 times 2 cubed is 8 plus 5/2, 2 squared is 4, minus 4 times 2 is 8, minus 0 plugged in will get me 0. So I get negative 8/3. 2 reduces the 4 to 2, so I get plus 10 minus 8. So that gives me negative 8/3 plus 2, which I'll write as 6/3. So I get an answer of negative 2/3. Alright, so that's part A. Now part B says, what's the total area? So now I need to do this in 2 pieces. And I don't know if I gave myself enough room. Well, at least set it up. So I need to integrate from 0 to 1 of the function, because that's where the 0 is. And since I graphed it, I know that that's the portion that's negative. So when I get the answer to this, I will turn it positive. But then I also need to get the answer to 1 to 2 of the function. And because I graphed it, I know that part's already positive. And so it wouldn't kill me. I could go ahead and just say absolute value on, like say you hadn't graphed it, but you knew there was a 0 at 1, so you weren't sure which was the piece that was positive and which was negative. You could just be safe and put absolute value on everything, and you'd get the right answer. But I know that part's going to be positive. So now I just need to go through the work and evaluate it, and I'll be good. And I'm going to let you do that. You can check the answer off of the answer key. So let's take a look at the next one, number 24. Same basic question. First part, it says graph it. And so again, I'm going to think about this parabola that's now right side up. And it'll be easy to find the zeros because it doesn't have a constant term. So I can factor an x out, leaving myself with x minus 4. So, looks like I have a 0 at 0, and a 0 at 4. And it's a regular old parabola. Vertex is going to be in between those. And I'm going out to 5. So I know that I will not get the same answer for A and B because we have some positive and some negative. So for part A, I'm going to integrate from 0 to 5. And whatever I get is what I get. So that should be easy to do. Since I did part A on the last one and not part B, I'll mix it up this time. I'll let you do part A, and I'll do part B. So part B, I'm going to need to integrate from 0 to 4, because that's where the 0 is. And then I'll need to do from 4 to 5. And that's the part that's negative. So I'll make that positive before I add them together. Alright, so the antiderivative is going to be 1/3 x cubed minus 2x squared. Integrate from 0 to 4. 4 goes in. 4 cubed is 64, I believe. And so I get 64 thirds. And 4 squared is 16 times a negative 2. Sorry, I lost my train of thought here. Negative 32. Let's check that. I blinked for a minute. 4 squared, 16, 32. It's negative. Okay, that's correct. So 64 thirds minus 32. I need a common denominator. So let's turn 32 into, what, 96 thirds? That's correct. So 64 minus 96 is going to be, let's see, 6 minus 4 is 2, 32 thirds. And it's going to be negative. Let's see. My picture better be very much not to scale because what this is, actually, hold on, I've screwed up royally. So there's a big problem. The problem, of course, is that according to my picture, 0 to 4 is a positive area, and I have just got a negative area. So let's see if we can find our problem. 0 to 4. Because I'm stupid, that's why. I said it the whole time, but then I drew my parabola upside down. So good news is my math is right. It's my picture that's crap. So that's easy to fix. Okay, so 0 to 4, I got this nice chunk here. And then 4 to 5, I still need to do. And that's why it helps. I mean, if you'll notice, I kind of stopped to think about the number I got, and then I noticed it didn't really make sense for the problem. And so paying attention to those little details will help you catch mistakes. Okay, so then this part is the part that's going to get the absolute value, not the other part. Okay, so now I need to integrate the other part. Let's change color. See if I can squeeze it in. So I got the same antiderivative, so I don't have to repeat that work. And now I'm going from 4 to 5. Okay, so 4 to 5. I plug in 4, and you'll notice I've already plugged in 4. You know, in a minute I'm going to have to plug in 4 again, but I already know what the answer is when I plug in 4. It's negative 32 thirds. Because I plugged in 4, subtract 0, which did nothing. So this is actually the answer to plugging in 4. So when it gets there, I can save some time. So I've got 1/3 of 5 cubed, that's 125 cubed, minus 2 times 5 squared is 29, so that's minus 50. So that's what I get when I plug in 5, minus what I get when I plug in 4, which is negative 32 thirds. So now I just need to get a common denominator and finish this off. This ends up being addition here, so it's going to turn into plus 32 thirds. So 125 and 32, that's going to be, what, 57? So I have 157 thirds, and I'm out of room again. I'm going to move it over here. 157 thirds minus 50, and 50 is going to be 150 thirds. So I end up getting an answer of 7 thirds. So this chunk right here is 7 thirds. This chunk is negative 32 thirds. So I'm going to make it positive and add them together, giving myself 39 thirds, which is 13. Okay, I'm going to stop the video right here.